So today I want to talk to you about the cost of the nomadic lifestyle here in Andalusia in Spain. So if you're considering getting out of the UK or wherever you live and considering living away and you want to kind of experience that nomadic lifestyle, what does it cost? So keep on watching, keep on listening, find out more. Welcome back to consecutive day 1807 for Diary of a Runpreneur. And today's topic is all about the cost of a nomadic lifestyle here in the beautiful Andalusia in Spain. So if you're considering leaving the country, could be really relevant to you moving to somewhere like Spain. This might be a fairly good indication of what it kind of costs to live in a place like this. But before we get going, please don't forget that this vlog is part of a fundraiser of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style. The more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. So back to the topic at hand, the cost of a nomadic lifestyle here in Andalusia in Spain. Before we get into it though, I just want to comment on how much of a small world it really is on occasions. I'm here in the Desert Springs Golf Resort, and kind of residential resort if you like, here in Andalusia. We're about kind of 30 miles outside of, or 30 minutes away from Almeria in the kind of southern eastern point of Spain. And it's quite a quiet, unspoilt part of Spain. There's not a lot of British tourists here, there's a few expats, but it feels unspoilt. And it's been quite interesting because we've been kind of exploring some places, and we're in a place called Majaca yesterday, which is a beautiful kind of town really on the mountainside. You've got stunning views of the surrounding countryside as far as the sea, and it's a beautiful part of the country. We were yesterday and having kind of a dinner in a really nice restaurant on a terrace overlooking an amazing kind of panoramic scenic views. And it was so bizarre. The three people on the table next to us were from the neighbouring villages where I live in Cambridgeshire, which is crazy when you think about it. Not only are they from the same country, but the neighbouring villages. I mean, literally, all three of them I could run to where they kind of live. That shows how close to me they were. And then later today we've been kind of having some relaxation time around the pool, and one of the residents here is a guy from kind of Peckham in the UK, in London, and he was 6 months ago living in Newmarket, which is again a stone's throw from where I reside at home. Well, not a stone's throw, I could run it, it's about a marathon away from where I live. So again, it's potentially running distance from where I was. In the matter of 2 days in a place that's over 1,000 miles away from where I live. But anyway, back to the kind of topic at hand. This individual I was talking to about, who used to live in Newmarket, now lives here at the Desert Springs Resort in Andalusia in Spain. And he was an ex-jockey, really interesting character. He's won at Royal Ascot, among other very distinguished kind of races. Had a full career as a jockey. He's now in his late 50s, approaching 60. And he had to retire a little bit early because he had a heart attack, and you're not allowed to be a jockey if that happens. So, but it came at a good time. He's happy to retire, and he lives on his own. He had a girlfriend back home in the UK, but they had their own kind of places, so it wasn't like a married scenario or anything. And he found that during the cold weather months in the UK, he would struggle with illness. So he decided just that, you know, they were going to keep his relationship going, but he was going to emigrate and move abroad. And he has an Irish passport as well as a British passport. So he's not restricted kind of to what we were since Brexit, in the UK. So he's pretty free to travel around the EU. And he chose to come to Spain, and he came to this place here in Desert Springs Resort, and he said it's the best decision of his life. He says he gets a little bit lonely living on his own, but the weather and the climate is just so much better for his mental health, well-being, and obviously living with a heart condition that he has to be very mindful of looking after himself. So he came out here and he says he doesn't know how people do it at home anymore. Cost of living crisis, everything's so expensive. He was kind of putting things in perspective over here. He drove over, so he had his car as well, and he said, you know, it was costing kind of 78, 80 pounds to fill his car up in the UK with petrol. Over here it's like 52, so you know, probably 2/3 of the price so of his fuel. Just one kind of example. He's staying in a luxurious apartment here in Desert Springs. It's a residential resort, so it's primarily owner occupied, and a lot of them are vacant because they're holiday homes for the owners who may reside back in the UK or other countries. But there are a kind of a community of expats that are living here now in retired life, loving the kind of lifestyle, the weather, and everything that comes with it. And you know, these apartments, you can pick them up for kind of 100 to 120,000 euros, maybe a little bit more for the bigger ones, maybe significantly more for the big plots. But you know, in comparison to what you'd get for, you know, an equivalent in the UK in the pound sterling, you're talking 120,000 euro is like, you know, 120,000 euros is about 100,000 pounds, thereabouts. And you know, 100,000 euro is going to be kind of 85,000 pounds. So what would you get in the UK for that money? Very little, very, very little. You'd probably struggle to get a studio flat for that money in most places. Obviously there are kind of caveats to that, where depending on where you're looking in the UK, some of the less desirable areas you'll probably get something within that price bracket, but not a lot. I mean, this is luxurious accommodation. And then he didn't want to buy, he still owns his place in the UK, so he's actually renting. So renting would normally be more a month than a mortgage, certainly at that price that I was talking about. And he's renting for about 600 euros a month, which is probably close to about 500 pounds a month, renting a 2-bedroom luxurious apartment. And his utilities are 60 euros a month. So that's 660 euros for all of his kind of fixed costs, if you like, of stuff that's going to go out every month. And then he said the food shopping, you know, he'd be paying £100 a week in the UK. It's like 60 euros over here. So again, it's probably 50% of the price. He says, I kid you not, you could live for 10 euros a day over here. Okay, it's not going to be the most luxurious food you're eating, but 12 euros, you'd probably be quite happy. He was talking about the kind of seafood and stuff he was buying. He bought a kilo of fresh prawns. In the UK, God knows what that would be. Over here, 3 euros. A kilo of mussels, 3 euros. It's incredibly cheap in comparison to what we experience in the UK, and probably other countries around Europe and further around the world. And this is just, I know I'm running around a bit of a deserted country back road, but the majority of this resort is just beautiful. It's picturesque, it's well kept, it's just beautiful. And you know, it just gives you an indication of, you know, how little you can kind of, you know, you could basically survive somewhere in the region of 900 euros to 1,000 euros. 1,000 euros, you could live very comfortably a month here. I don't know many people who could live on that budget back in the UK, certainly, and certainly you'd probably struggle with a lot of the kind of more developed EU countries, and obviously developed world, you'd struggle to kind of meet that quota for sure. So yeah, 900 to 1,000 euros all in. That's your fuel, that's your spending money, that's eating, that's, you know, that is the price of a nomadic lifestyle here in the beautiful Andalusia in Spain. It's quite remarkable. And do you know what he has? He's very happy, has an amazing life. He says obviously if his girlfriend could be with him, he gets a little bit lonely, but he's got everything he needs, and he loves it. So that's something to just consider, isn't it, when you think about kind of what we pay at home. So I was suppose the learnings from my diary today are that, you know, I've heard so much about, and I know quite a few people who are leaving the UK for tax reasons and cost of living reasons and all that side of things. And it was really interesting speaking to someone today who's done it, you know, very recently, the last 6 months, and to kind of understand the cost implications of doing it and what he misses, what he doesn't miss. And okay, everybody's life is different, and, you know, circumstantially, whether you've got family and whether you've got ties and things like that can make a massive difference. But this was a individual who he's got a house, he's selling this house, but he's kind of left his house to be kind of managed and sold in his absence, and he'll go back and sign the documents when he needs to, etc. But he's just dropped everything at home and started a new life for himself over here, and he's found an amazing apartment, highly luxurious resort, a really, really nice chilled environment. Certainly if you're retired, but a lot of people here like spend some of their time here, some of their time back at home, which is another kind of nice kind of way of doing it. And yeah, for 900,000 euros all in a month is, you know, from my perspective, I think that's very cheap, and it's something that means that this could be really accessible to a lot of people, especially with the way the world and technology is going. So yeah, ultimately it's something to consider. I'm certainly not myself with my young children and family and stuff like that, but certainly for later in life, I can tell you now, I wouldn't be as tied to the UK as I would have thought I was maybe months or a few years ago. I wouldn't have ever seen myself leaving on a permanent basis, but this kind of is eye-opening to the life you can lead, where you wouldn't even need to kind of do it just in one place, but spend maybe 3 months somewhere, move on, 3 months somewhere, maybe 3 months back in the UK, and then that lifestyle is really, really accessible. And I'm sure if you're doing it in luxurious parts of Spain like this, I'm sure you could do it possibly even cheaper in other countries. And yeah, and what a way of life. So anyway, any questions or comments on that, drop me a line. Anything relevant I'll respond to. Do remember though, if you believe in my mission of saving the lives of children by attempting the ultimate ultramarathon of run vlogging on consecutive days, the distance of a lap of the world, barefoot style, and do give this a subscribe, share, like and comment. The more people we get in front of, more money we raise, more children's lives we save, which is why I do this every single day. Thank you as always. Stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.